My name is Igor Marjanovic, and it is my privilege to serve as a faculty marshal for this year's graduating classes in architecture, landscape architecture, and urban design. While I still have the prospective standing, I would like to ask to please turn around. Assembled here on the podium to begin by welcoming all of you today, and in particular by welcoming our guests who came from near and afar to be with us today. We are an international school and a truly diverse community of staff. Follow immediately afterwards under the tent. To introduce the Dean of the Sam Fox School of Design and Visual Arts, Professor Carmen Colangelo.
Thank you, Igor. Welcome, parents, grandparents, family, and friends to this wonderful architecture tradition and recognition ceremony in this beautiful Oak. On behalf of the Sam Fox School, my faculty colleagues, and our dedicated staff, thank you for joining us this morning and helping us celebrate the accomplishments of our graduates in architecture, landscape architecture, and urban design in the College and the Graduate School of Architecture and Urban Design. Congratulations to the class of 2015. Graduates, let me offer you my personal heartfelt congratulations. I also want to express my appreciation for all you have contributed to the life and character of the Sam Fox School. Your work has left an indelible impression on the culture of this school, and I know each of you will now bring your good sense of curiosity, and passion to the world in a truly authentic way. Graduates, I know as you leave here, you will be missing your friends, the artistic community, the late night in the studio, and maybe even Edda's Cafe. Graduation is truly an awesome time. This past December, I had the honor to speak to my own alma mater, to the graduates of the School of Art and Design at LSU. I noted to my fellow Tigers, and I want to say my fellow Tiger up here is Natalie Yates. Maybe as a penance for missing my own MFA graduation, I have over the past 3 decades in my various academic roles attended more than 50 plus graduations. Over this time, I've heard a lot of inspiring stories and have been given lots of advice at commencement events just like this. Reflecting on these experiences, I've learned that advice is a strange thing. It comes in two forms, right and not exactly right. And sometimes it's the contrary advice that sticks with you the most. One of those pieces of advice came to me from one of my teachers, a prolific painter, Professor Robert Warrens, who pushed me to be a real artist. I was leaving Louisiana to start my first tenure-track job position way back in 1984. And he proceeded to provide me with some thoughtful advice about teaching and protecting my career as an artist. He advised me to lay low in all faculty meetings, warning me that speaking up would immediately lead to the unwanted result of many committee assignments. As a result, the artistic life would surely be sucked out of me forever. Without getting into the detail of my experiences, you may be able to guess from my current role as dean, I did exactly the opposite. I didn't choose the opposite path because the advice I received was wrong. I just realized it was not exactly right for me. Instead, I found myself speaking up at faculty meetings. I volunteered and was ready and willing to do what was needed to build a printmaking program, then a graduate program, next the art department, followed by an art school, and finally as the dean of the Sam Fox School. Professor Warrens was right about a few things. Each time I spoke up, I got more responsibility and work. And along with that responsibility and work came greater rewards and more opportunities, maybe even a little more stress. I was definitely stretched way beyond my comfort zone. Each new challenge came with the risk of failure and often involved lots of fear and lots of mistakes along the way. But here's where Professor Warrens wasn't exactly right. I never gave making up art. In fact, my work as a teacher and my role as in academic leadership has opened doors and has made me a much better artist. It has certainly afforded me many unexpected opportunities to collaborate with designers and scholars of many disciplines, engaging in the development of ideas that have been woven and synthesized into all aspects of my work and creative process. I believe now, more than ever, the role of artists, architects, and designers are critical in our society. I am indeed very honored to be here with you all at a time when your voices are so essential and critical to the conversation, especially in these turbulent times of social unrest so close to home. It's hard to avoid reflecting on the issues of disparity, prejudice, poverty, and violence. We must work together to address the biggest environmental and social problems of our time. As graduates of the Sam Fox School, you are enlightened architects, urban and landscape designers, and potential leaders. I challenge you to design a more livable, interesting, accessible, and just world. As you find your path, I hope you will seek to change and expand the traditional definitions of your fields in critical and relevant ways through sustained creative practice. I hope that you will seek to add new knowledge to your field and address the big challenges of the day. And I encourage you to accept leadership opportunities and defy any boundaries or limitations that others project onto you. Simply said, I hope each of you will be leaders and design to change the world. Once again, graduates, I want to personally congratulate you on your amazing accomplishments and wish you great success, fulfillment, and prosperity. Cheers. And parents and families, I want to also thank you for your tremendous support, the support that you have given your student. Congratulations to you as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Carmen, for those opening remarks. Each year, the members of the graduating senior class choose one of their classmates to become a graduation speaker, and this year the honor belongs to Stephen Veres, who will address the graduating students. Stephen.
Thank you. Parents and family, teachers and friends, Jello, my name is Steve. I am honored that you selected me as the student speaker for our graduation ceremony. Just 2 days ago, I was told I only had 3 to 5 minutes to speak. So, lucky for you all, my 30-page draft was condensed into just 1 page. My initial thought after receiving this honor was, darn, more homework? But then I thought, well, if I speak, then they have to let me graduate, right? But all jokes aside, there's no one group of people I'd rather do homework for than you guys. Writing this speech was an opportunity for me to recall so many cherished moments that we shared over these past 4 years. Before I continue, I'd like to warn you. I might make some of you cry. I will try to make a few of you laugh. And for most of you non-graduates out there, I'll probably just confuse you. Being the tight-knit group that we are, we've acquired quite a few inside jokes and some backstories that I really don't have the time to get into. Despite this, I hope I can give you a glimpse of the incredible community that we have formed and cherished to this day. Okay, now, with the time that I have left, I'd like to reflect back on all that we've learned, shared, and accomplished, not in a classroom, but in a studio. So, what we've learned. We learned that the repeat button gets stuck in the on position when Dave Matthews Band comes on in studio. We learned how to fall asleep in any position, in any place, and at any time, regardless of how bright and noisy our surroundings might be. On this note, we learned that we are not allowed to sleep in Kemper, but the bathroom floor in Givens is up for grabs. We learned how to Photoshop each other's faces onto weird animal pictures and Nicolas Cage. We learned that Lex looks great with any hair or beard style. We learned that well done kills, and we learned that if things don't work out here, we can always just fall back on our modeling, acting, and singing careers in LA. Next, what we shared. We shared our stories, our music, our napping spots, our styrene, our mac and cheese bowls, our candy, and our nuts. Once I even shared a Reese's peanut butter cup with Sung Ho. That was a special moment for us. We shared our hardships and our tears, our struggles and our pains, our countless all-nighters, and our torturously long reviews. But most of all, we shared our victories, our triumphs, and our friendships. You guys are some of the best friends I've ever had, and I think I'd be hard-pressed to ever meet a better group of people in my lifetime. And finally, what we accomplished. We built a bridge. We took a picture with Chancellor Wrighton and no one blinked. We produced a superstar, Connor Dermott, whose song, See You Again, is about to be released. Please watch and share on Facebook and YouTube. We sent, half of you to Harvard? Klauser ran a marathon while building a model and playing a saxophone. Shannon convinced her sister to come here. And somehow, just somehow, we graduated. I love you guys. There's no question. You have made my experience here at WashU one of the most amazing periods of my life. And for that, I will be forever grateful. So, while today may be the last day that our studio is all together for quite a long time, what we have formed here over these past 4 years will never go away. Our studio does not need a studio space. Our studio will live on in each and every one of us. I consider it a great privilege to have learned, shared, and accomplished all that I have by your sides. I will miss everyone here dearly, but I cannot wait to see all the amazing things that we will accomplish. I am proud to call you all my friends. Congratulations, Architecture Class of 2015. I love you guys. Thanks.
Thank you, Stephen, for your remarks. The members of the graduating class of Architecture, Landscape Architecture, and Urban Design have chosen Megan Brittany Berry as their speaker. Please join me in welcoming Megan to the podium.
We are the lucky ones. We are the lucky ones because we have fallen in love with something that is bigger than ourselves and that has driven us to push our mental and physical limits. After 1 a.m. in architecture school, time is measured by the number of Snicker bars. It was my first night in studio, and I was 3 Snickers in. I was desperately trying to hold back my tears. The point of Rhino is to make lines into surfaces, and I had lost the lines. Rhino devastated me in my first night. Mommy, I thought I was going to have to call you and tell you I was a failure. There is something to be said about parents who answer the phone at 3 a.m. with, "Good morning, sweetheart, how's studio?" After I hung up the phone, I did what I still do when I get stressed, and I took a walk around the building. After the water from my eyes cleared, I sat back down in the computer lab and Googled how to find lines in Rhinoceros 3D software. Fortunately, I did not have to wait too long, because before I could click on a link, the guy behind me, who I had known for less than a week, said, "Megan, what are you doing? Here, you do this, and then you do this, and then there you go." 40 minutes past 3 a.m., I had a project. Now, this would have been a great opportunity to pay attention, write the steps, or maybe even learn something. Instead, I was in a daze, looking at the clock and looking back at him. I was astonished. Why was he helping me? Why would anyone help anyone at 3 a.m.? But that's how it happens here. After that genuine kindness, I was hooked. Architecture school at Sam Fox was then, and still is now, a place I never want to leave. None of us would be sitting here in these chairs today without experiencing countless acts of kindness from our peers sitting on either side of us. We are a rare breed. We have an unparalleled desire to aid in the progression of humanity with an insatiable passion to constantly push design in new ways. We are the lucky ones because we have developed a ridiculous work ethic that will serve us well in any task we pursue. We have this unrelenting desire to put our passion to the test day in and day out. But this passion would not have been cultivated without our faculty and leadership at Sam Fox. Thank you to all of our mentors who believed in us when we didn't believe in ourselves, and thank you for giving us the strength when we were down and challenging us right before we started to feel comfortable. And to all of the family and friends here today, thank you for your continued support through this journey as we carry on our passion to the next chapter of our lives. After today, we will have a piece of paper honoring our design prowess and a spectacular portfolio from one of the best design schools in the world. But these are the small things. The midnight desk crits, the contagious laughter at 2 a.m., and the countless Jimmy John's deliveries have led us through experiences that amount to so much more. Our experience at Sam Fox has given us the tools and resources to amass great potential to make our vivid imageries into real places. Our collective collaboration at Sam Fox shouldn't end here. We are now among alumni and faculty that reach around the world. I would like today to serve as a reminder and a reflection of that rush of excitement we have all felt in studio when we have a design epiphany. And remember that each of us have dreams that need to be realized, and to never forget that we have the potential, drive, and now skill set to achieve just about anything. That is the beauty of having the confidence and the opportunity to explore our creative intuition to the fullest. So we need to remember to have the opportunity to indulge in passionate work is a gift only the select few can embrace. To my brother Bobby, who has given me the strength to take risks, and to my mother who has made it all possible. And to David Pumiyajaya, you were the guy in 317 who first helped me, so thank you. Congratulations, we survived.
Thank you, Megan. And each year, all graduating students also select one of the faculty members to address them as a faculty speaker at the commencement, and the honor this year belongs to Professor Catalina Freixas. Please join me in welcoming Catalina.
Today is a day for celebration. We have all come together to celebrate 6, 7, 4, 2, or 3 years and a half of hard work, dedication, and immense personal growth. Your families and friends, as well as faculty and classmates who have supported you and helped you transition during these years at school, are here to celebrate your accomplishment with you. So please, graduating class, give them a round of applause. I felt honored to learn last week that the class of 2015 has selected me as the faculty commencement speaker. As I was thinking about what to say to all of you, I worried about what words of wisdom I could possibly give you after all you have experienced during your time at WashU. Thinking about the time you have spent at Gibbons, I felt reassured to be sending you into the world, as I'm confident about the caliber of education you have received, both in and beyond the classroom. I believe that architecture school has given you not only the tools to help you flourish in your career, but most importantly, has prepared you for the challenges of life. So I decided to recount your experiences here at Gibbons as a series of lessons that bridge from between studio and life after graduation. So lesson number 1, pursue your passion. There is no way you could have gone through architecture school without passion. The high level of commitment required to pursue this career means that you must be passionate about it to make it all worth it. As you all know, there were ups and downs in the road, but it is clear today that you have what it takes. Otherwise, you would have not made it this far. You never know what you are capable of unless you try, and this applies to your life after graduation. So find what you are passionate about and do not settle. Follow it. Do what you love, even when you do not love it every day. By the end of the day, you will be at your best when you live by what you believe. Lesson number 2, get better at trusting yourself and learn to be bold. At your desk, in your everyday decisions, you learn to trust your intuitions and then work with all the tools at your disposal to transform that intuition into an idea, a concept, a design, seeking its resolution at every stage of the process. It takes a lot of confidence to stand up for what you believe and defend your ideas. But that is what you do all day after day in desk scripts, pin-ups, and reviews. Sometimes they were not perceived the way you intended and you felt defeated, while at other times you were able to articulate your thoughts in such a manner that all the dots connected. Nevertheless, you kept on trying, trusting that first intuition and working to make it a reality. Believing in yourself will give you confidence to follow your heart and intuition, and encourage you not to settle and to fight for what you deem important. Remember, fear is primarily a creation of the mind. Transform it to make it an ally in your work. Don't get paralyzed. Just work harder. At one point, the dots will connect. Lesson number 3, do not let others define who you are or what you do. In architecture schools, you learn different ways of thinking and responding to design problems from your professors. Through this constant exposure to ideas, methods, and techniques, you build up a repertoire from which you began to craft your own unique approach. During your time at architecture, you thus develop your own way of design thinking that was tested over and over again and strengthened through the process of critique. Today, you have the tools to define what you want and who you are as a designer. Now is the time to begin to draw your own path and start your journey. Remember, there are many ways to be an architect. Part of the journey is figuring out the way or ways that suit you the best. Lesson number 4, do not only have big dreams, have a vision. From early on in core studio, you were asked to create spaces that only you could imagine, and then to find a way to translate your vision into physical form. This vision provided a unifying idea of your project and helped define the necessary steps driving your decision-making and design process forward. Your vision of what your design should be and how to get there was, is, and will always be the essence of dialogue at Givens. Creating a vision takes determination and planning ahead to help bring your big dreams into realization. In life beyond studio, having a vision is important as a designer. It will help you forge your own path and determine the steps you need to take now to pursue your dreams. Lesson number 5, take initiative. Use your imagination and creativity. At Givens, multiple opportunities to pursue grants, competition, internships, teaching assistantships, and research jobs were made available to you. From early on in your education, you have been challenged to be a leader in the field. You learn from your experiences here to use your imagination and creativity to pursue opportunities which challenge you and help you define your particular strength. Fight for what you want and take initiative. As designers, you have high expectations of yourself, your work, and your careers, and you hold yourself to high standards of originality. It's possible you may not be satisfied with what's already out there, or it may not fit with your vision of yourself as a designer. If you cannot find what you are searching for, Create it. Take action. Shape your own path. Lesson number 6. Embrace change. Uncertainty is an opportunity. In architecture school, you learn to embrace critiques and the new directions and questions they might have led you to. You accepted that there are many paths by which you arrive to a goal, and you learn to accept the uncertainty that comes with it. You came to realize that change is a fundamental path of your design process, and you learned to let go of the past so you could move into the future. Uncertainty is a good thing to experience and is inherent to the design process. Embracing moments of uncertainty as opportunities to learn and grow will greatly ease the anxieties that come with life experience. The future is always uncertain and subject to change. As designers, this is an integral aspect of our trade. Looking forward does not mean forgetting the past, but building up from it. Lesson number 7. That which does not kill us makes us stronger. How many times have you thought about quitting? This is too hard. I'm not sure if I am made for this. But something or someone made you think that things were possible, that you could do it. And your struggles became productive, and you were able to rise to the standards. During school, you believed these standards were imposed by your professors. But today, you might have realized those standards were standards that you held yourself to in order to produce your best work. Work that you felt would reflect who you were and what you were capable of. Every time that you feel defeated, that things seem too difficult or hard, remember your experiences at Gibbons and get back on the saddle and keep on trying, but harder. Your success will be determined by how tenacious you are how tenacious you are about what is important to you. Lesson number 8. Learn to fail or fail to learn. At Gibbons, you learn that practice makes the master. It was when you struggled that you learned the most, and the things that went wrong were often the things that led to other things that were right. You know that it was only by trying, iterating through different possibilities and solutions, that you overcame difficulties and achieved resolution and success. It is important to realize now how worthwhile it can be to take risks and be enriched by the new challenges they may represent. You need to make peace with the fact that you will make mistakes. What is important, or truly important, is what you do in the face of these difficulties, and will determine your ability to successfully overcome failure and embrace the future with optimism. Lesson number 9. Time is more valuable than money. There is nothing more valuable in architecture school than time. If only I had more time, I could finish the model or another rendering. But you learn that with a very limited amount of time, you needed to make the most of it. Not very different than in life, time is limited. Learning to accept time limits as positive constraints will not only allow you to make the most of the time available, but will also liberate time for other things that are necessary part of life. Do things that you enjoy. You will be at your best when you are happy. Lesson number 10. Good friends are hard to find, harder to leave, and impossible to forget. During your times at Gibbons, you spend numerous amount of hours with your fellow students, people that you might have thought you did not have anything in common with at the beginning. But you found that, in fact, you did. You share architecture. And through the experience of sharing your studio space, after the struggle, the pressure, and the time share, amazing friendships emerge that you will treasure for years to come. You have learned that hard times will always reveal true friends. Hopefully, you will keep in touch as friends and colleagues in the field, carrying forward the mutual support, encouragement, advice, and dialogues, which are such a powerful part of our unique studio culture. So after all these years and all your tremendous effort, I know I speak on behalf of the rest of the faculty as well when I say how proud I am of all of you. You have come a long way, and by looking at the work exhibited now on the walls of Gibbons and Steinberg, I have no hesitation about addressing you now as my colleagues. So, What's next? To sum up, the key is to listen to your heart and trust yourself. Take initiative and work hard to realize your vision without compromising who you are. Welcome failure, struggles, uncertainty, and change as opportunities from which to grow. Time is limited. Don't forget to make time for outside world besides architecture. Family and friends should also be part of your life. Today is the beginning of what you have dreamt about during these years at school. Love what you do. Get good at it. Congratulations, class of 2015.
Thank you, Catalina. And now to introduce our guest speaker is the Dean of Architecture, Bruce Lindsay.
Thank you, Igor. It's a wonderful tradition of our recognition ceremony to invite an alumni to address our graduating class. And it's my pleasure to introduce Kate Dundes Shattan. I've said many times that our alumni define our school at any given moment as much as our current faculty and students do. And in a way, they mark the future for you. Kate Dundes Shattan is principal at Gustavson Dundes, and she received her Bachelor of Arts major in architecture in 1977 from Washington University in St. Louis, and holds a master's degree in 1980 from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Her extensive experience practicing since 1983 in both residential and commercial practices in both the New York metropolitan area and nationally has resulted in her attracting a large and loyal set of repeat clients, including clients such as Estee Lauder, McDonald's, J.C. Penney, and several investment banking firms. Kate is a member of the Sam Fox Schools National Council, and one of the most amazing things about her, among many, is her incredible energy. A wonderful friend that I met nearly the first month that I came here as dean 9 years ago. And in that regard, her energy has brought her to be an active mentor and professional advocate for our alumni across the United States, but particularly in New York City. It's my pleasure, and please join me in welcoming Kate Shattan.
Good morning. I am here today to congratulate you on the last 4 years, 2 years, 2.5 years, different combinations of grueling work, earning your degrees, but to welcome you into the world beyond academia. Washington University is sending you off. I am receiving you. Welcome. What is your next great adventure? What does that mean? What is the next step going to look like? I am sure it means different things for all of you. But one question I can ask you is, will you pass the Tokyo flight test? What does this mean? Well, when I was a recent graduate, a slightly older investment banker friend of mine explained to me that at Goldman Sachs, the Tokyo flight test was a crucial factor in any hire. After grilling prospective employees with complex questions, naturally considering a candidate's intelligence, recommendations, etc., the interviewers discreetly amongst themselves conferred about whether or not this person would pass the Tokyo flight test. I was intrigued. What did it mean? What the hell was my friend talking about? Well, in the old days, Tokyo was just about the farthest place they typically traveled, and it required, if you lived in New York, about 22 hours of travel, potentially sitting next to your coworker for all of that time. So apart from considering the obvious business skills any new hire might bring to the table, was another important question. Do we want to sit next to this individual, confined in 23 inches of space, maybe 30 if Goldman was flying you out business class, for 22 hours? What is interesting about this person? What will we talk about? I'm going to share a little bit with you about my career. I chose Washington University for several reasons. I always knew I wanted to be an architect, even in high school, but I wanted a fine liberal arts education, and not really a specifically vocational one. I don't have to tell you what other fantastic disciplines are here. You all know that. So I graduated, and after taking a break to work in a large firm in New York, I went on to graduate school and then to begin my career and start to work in a small firm, small architectural firm. So I had 1 year in a really large firm, 1 year in a pretty academic Boston firm where I went to grad school, and then I came home to New York City where I worked for another year in sort of a medium-sized firm. But my father had once said to me, "You work, and the minute you feel you can't learn anymore, you move on." Well, I was pretty full of myself, as 20-somethings tend to be. And a friend of mine, a woman, an architect friend, slightly ahead of me, was desperate to go out on her own, and she wanted me to go with her. So somehow I convinced myself I had learned enough and that I was ready to do that. So we did. We moved her bed out of her Varick Street loft, and we moved our drafting tables in. Well, I guess I was about 27. The firm that we had worked in together specialized in store design, retail design. And she for a very long time, me for a summer stint. They had many inquiries from clients all over the place, many of whom could not afford their services. So they recommended us. So seemingly and actually overnight, we had clients, and not just in New York City. You could say that we got lucky, but if we hadn't taken that initial risk of striking out on our own, there would have been nothing to be lucky about. Suddenly, we had to write letters of agreements, find out everything there was to know about our clients' businesses, design their spaces, produce the drawings, find the contractors, get the spaces built, and may I also add, bill for our services. And all the while, we had to pretend that we knew what we were doing. So let me tell you, this was pretty funny, and yes, lucky. Lucky that we had friends at other offices getting us examples of agreement letters, others getting us invoices. My mother was in my apartment till all hours of night typing up contracts and bills. But the spaces got built, our invoices actually got paid, and we figured it out. Clients are a lot easier than studio critics, I can assure you. Because I really didn't want to design retail spaces for the rest of my life, I eventually left that practice and joined up with someone else. And that person has become my business partner for 30 years in an architectural practice in New York City, and we're still pretty busy. So you could say that my career has been a tad provincial. I came back to the place where I was born and grew up. I stayed the course and didn't really vary it. Your path may look very different. The world is more complex, connections to other disciplines much more integrated. But one thing is true. You have an education in architecture, truly one of the most intriguing and seductive of disciplines to the rest of the world. Why is it that so many people say to me, "Oh, I always wanted to be an architect"? Their eyes light up when they hear what I do. It is everyone's secret fantasy profession, and you did it. You are everyone else's secret fantasy. Quite a responsibility. You may practice architecture. You may not. What you will soon come to see in life is that everything is a design project, and you have an advantage. You have the benefit of this extraordinary education, identifying the problem, forming the program, dissecting the issues, internalizing the most important aspects, creating the form, and defending the form. You will apply that to everything you will do in your life. So also, after a long time of being out in the world and living your lives, you will have the opportunity, as I did, to reconnect with Washington University, to understand how the many, many hours you spent in studio and possibly a few other places shaped your life. I urge you to come back. Architects are all about the perspective, about the ability to imagine the view, to visualize the things that others cannot see. Return to this place, to this most wonderful, incredible institution, and I promise you a changed and yet equally spectacular view. I'll leave you back with that Tokyo flight test. I've spent a lot of time with my clients, in meetings, in taxis, in planes, at dinners, in their homes. Over the years, many more hours than a year of flights to Tokyo. So what do we talk about? Certainly not their projects. They look to me, their architects, to us, to be their Renaissance people, to be able to converse adeptly about whatever is of interest to them, about the theater, literature, their children, their relationships, their music, their medicine chests, their closets. I can assure you that no matter what you do next, you are prepared to analyze a problem, analyze people, collaborate, think, and each and every one of you will pass the Tokyo flight test. Thank you.
Thank you, Kate, for those very thoughtful remarks and for joining us today for this important celebration. We will now proceed to present the diplomas for the undergraduate programs in the College of Architecture. I would like to ask the graduates to please line up towards my left, over here by the steps, and proceed to the podium. We will confer first the degrees for the Bachelor of Arts with a major in Architecture, followed by the Bachelor of Design in Architecture, and ultimately Bachelor of Science in Architecture. Please proceed. Congratulations. Dean Lindsay will shake your hand. Charlotte Henley Spitzfaden, August 2015 candidate with also a minor in art. Congratulations, Joseph. Joseph Wesley Remy Boudreau. Oops. Dio Antonio De Pern, August 2015 candidate. Gabriela Paloma Esquivel, second major in art history and archaeology. Thank you, Sam. Congratulations. Samuel K. Leader, summa cum laude, and a Bachelor of Science with a major in applied science. Annette Rosemary Marvin, second major in French and a minor in art history and archaeology. Benjamin Raber Max, August 2015 candidate. Alexandra Shi-Yu May, summa cum laude and a minor in communication design as well as a minor in writing. Jisoo Park, cum laude with a minor in art. Victoria Elaine Phillips, cum laude with a minor in writing. Helen Laughlin Pearson, cum laude, minor in environmental studies as well as a minor in urban studies. Bijan Edward Mitten Thornycroft, magna cum laude, and a second major in economics and strategy. Congratulations, Stephen. Good job with the speech. Stephen Joseph Veres, December 2015 candidate. Congratulations, Robin. Robert Joseph Wacklowick, minor in business and a minor in landscape architecture. Thank you, Lex. Congratulations. Alexander Hampton Agnew Jr., cum laude, and a minor in landscape architecture. Congratulations, Miriam. Miriam Dorothy Alexandrov, summa cum laude, and a minor in urban design. Congratulations, Adina. Adina Rose Baumann, magna cum laude, minor in Chinese language and culture, as well as a global certificate. Thank you. Congratulations. Paige Nicole Bergmeyer. Thank you. Congratulations, Stephen. Heng Yun Chu, cum laude. Alexander Scott Clauser, magna cum laude. And a very special hat, too. Thank you. Congratulations, Christina. Christina Grace Clow, magna cum laude and a minor in architectural history. Grace, congratulations. Grace Catherine Davis, magna cum laude and a second major in art history and archaeology. Sophie Marina Donta, magna cum laude and minor in urban design. Rebecca, congratulations. Rebecca Bernd Erdi, cum laude, minor in French and a minor in urban design. Congratulations. James Andrew Evans, cum laude. Congratulations, Shira. Shira Penina Grossman, minor in philosophy. Congratulations, Taylor. Taylor John Halamka, magna cum laude. Kayla, congratulations. Kayla Rose Crute, magna cum laude and a minor in drama. Congratulations. Andy Lou Lee, magna cum laude, minor in communication design. Congratulations. Jennifer Robin Rockoff, cum laude. Cum laude. Congratulations. Yu Wei Sun, Bachelor of Fine Arts with a major in painting as well. And congratulations to you. Jia Cheng Ye. Congratulations again to all the undergraduate degree candidates. I would now like to invite the candidates for the Master of Architecture degree to please line up to my left over here with their cards in their hands. Those degrees will be conferred by Heather Wufter, Chair of the Graduate School of Architecture, and also Dean Lindsay at the
They've taken a longer path. So it is my pleasure to announce the names for the Master of Architecture degree. Eugene On. Alicia Ajay with honors and Master of Social Work. Elsie Christine Alex with honors. Jing Bao. Mei Master of Urban Design. Joshua Chi Shun Chan with honors. Yushan Chen with honors. Gabby Cho. With honors. Which one? Design degree. Sarah Lynn Delahousie. Congratulations. Joseph DeBella with honors and also a Master of Landscape Architecture degree. Congratulations. Patricia Monica Dragan with honors. Goli Nicole Elbrahan. Chad Edward Fisk with honors. Kirsten Marie Godeker with honors and also a Master of Urban Design degree. Grace Kent Goldstein with honors and also a Master of Business Administration degree. Michelle Lena Hawk, August 2015 candidate, and also a Master of Science in Architectural Studies. Brooke Elizabeth Helgerson with honors. Baksun Hu, December 15 candidate, Master of Construction Management degree as well. Quan Hong, December 15 candidate. Shengling Huang, Master of Architecture, also Master of Urban Design. Minggu Yang. Jin Gyo Lee, December 15 candidate. Young Jae Lee, December 15 candidate. Chunwan Liu, December 15 candidate. Congratulations. Yuan Sheng Liu, and also a Master of Construction Management degree. Jose Lomas III with honors. Rolando Lopez. Bin Kui Liu. Adolfo Malingdog with honors. Tui Chan Ton Mak, Master of Architecture, also a Master of Urban Design. Kay Rob Inmate with honors. Like to choke on me. Marina Myers. You're welcome. Yi Yang Min, December 15 candidate. Congratulations. Alexandra Maratavo. Congratulations. Cortland Julian Newcomb. Ki Ning Natalie Ung with honors. Jessica Lind Olson with honors. Yi Ming Pan with Master of Architecture and also Design. Zhenghua Park, December 15 candidate. Kwang O Park. Congratulations. Yu Ye Peng with honors. You can give me one? Okay. Colby Walker Perrine with honors. Thank you. David Puyaminja. Congratulations. Zhang Quan. Dina Siad, August 15 candidate, and also with a Master of Urban Design. Rachel Elizabeth Sarvis with honors. Yu Chen Shen, December 15 candidate. Huai Xian Shi, December 15 candidate. Palin Sitashit with honors. Vanessa Marie Stockton with honors. You're welcome. Maud Wagner with honors. Long journey, congratulations. Joan Louise Albert with honors, and also a Master of Landscape Architecture degree. Jing Yu Wu, Helen, December 15 candidate. Meng Feng Wu with honors. You're welcome. Congratulations. Fi Xie, December 15 candidate, with also a Master of Landscape Architecture degree. Congratulations. Shoujin Yang, December 15 candidate. Congratulations. Xin Yun Yu, December 15 candidate. Zheng Kui Yu, December 15 candidate. Congratulations. Alfredo Zertek. Congratulations. Hao Zhang with honors. Lin Feng Zhang, December 15 candidate. Yui Zhangzhi, December 15 candidate. Wenjia Zha, December 15 candidate. Han Zhu Joey, December 15 candidate, with also a Master of Construction Management degree. Take one. Melanie Marie Anderson. Sik-Ting Hua with honors. Yun-Ching Liu. Jessie Wang. Congratulations to the Master recipients. I would now like to introduce to award the degree, master's degree. Thank you.
Candidates. Oh, okay, sorry. Orbit. Fei Zhe. Thank you. Joseph DeBella. Yeah, mine is right. Melanie Marie Anderson. Hey.
Thank you.
Si-Ting Kuo. Congratulations. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to invite Professor John Hole. What? Yeah, it's better than that. One more. Sorry, one more. Do you have your... Yes. Gigi Wong. Thank you.
Thanks, Rob. The Master of Urban Design. Kirti Aliwali with honors. Thank you. Zachary Carson with honors. Callan Creamer with honors. Shaban Klaas August 2015 candidate. Kirsten Godea with honors. Courtney Johnson. Tweety Theon Mack. Over design. Yiming Pan. Dana Saeed, August 2015 candidate. You made it up here. Xinglin Huan. I'll pass it on to Professor McCarter. Thank you.
Good afternoon. It gives me pleasure to read the names of the graduates in Master of Science in Architectural Studies. It's going to take a while with this first one.
It's a very long list.
Letitia Maria Valiera Alati Colnago. That's quite all right. Michelle Leilani Hauk. Thank you.
I think we missed the rain. It's good. My grandfather was a forest ranger, and he worked in the Yak River Valley of Montana. And he said that it was a privilege to work in the forest, and he got up each day trying to act accordingly. It's a similar privilege to get up each day and work with such amazing colleagues and students, and to welcome you all here today. We've been worried, as I mentioned, about the weather, recalling the adage that climate is what you expect and weather is what you get. Another adage says that experience is what you get when you don't get what you want. But I hope that all of you both got what you wanted and the experiences that will serve you well in the future. My remarks will be brief, but I wanted to say a few things about how the experience of design education is unique. You've heard a little bit today already about studio. But first, a few words about the faculty. They say that a good teacher will take you to another place. A great teacher shows you a new place right where you stand. Both the place and the teacher are essential in this relationship. The first teacher is your faculty, the second teacher your colleagues, and the third teacher is the place. It's easy to forget that you are somewhere and not anywhere. It is common wisdom that your studio teachers teach you what they know. But it's a lesser known fact that they also teach what they want to know. And in the context of the studio learning environment, you participate in that. This is one of the many ways that your work as students helps shape the fields of environmental design. The studio, of course, is a part of the unique nature of design education. The studio is a place, a course, and an idea about how we learn to be a designer. The idea is that we learn to design by designing, and in the beginning, especially, the anxiety that happens is partly because your faculty ask you to do things you don't know how to do. That's why we do it together. It also requires a suspension of disbelief and a high level of trust in both your teacher and your colleagues. Another dimension of the idea of the studio is that you learn as much from your colleagues as you do from your teacher, and in fact are in part responsible for contributing to that learning. The reward of this is not only in the development of projects which deal with some of the most complex problems of our day, which is significant, but in the satisfaction, as we've heard from some of our speakers already, of having contributed to the learning of your friends and classmates. Emerson said that it is difficult to see the field within the field. So this may not be apparent right now, but look out for it in the continuing relationships and lifelong friendships that will assuredly follow from today. It seems fitting to quote Jonathan Stittleman in his letter to the seniors, and I quote, "Your teachers were my teachers." And I know he speaks for the entire faculty when he says, I have considered it a privilege to be your teacher. Another unique aspect of design education is that it requires a radical decentering. We develop the sense to see through each other's eyes, and in particular to see through other eyes, given the diverse public responsibility of our art. We learn to give up our imaginary position as the center, such that the relationships that we design are just and beautiful. John Rawls, the late political philosopher, goes one step further and says that not only do we have the duty to support just arrangements where they already exist, we have the responsibility to help bring them into being where they are not yet established. This regard for the political dimension of environmental design is not a part of all schools, but I am proud to say that it is a part of our school, and more importantly, a part of your experiences here. As the surprising but not altogether unexpected events of last August in Ferguson and other areas of the country have unfolded, it has brought an important focus on this part of our work together through events such as the Women in Architecture Symposium last fall, courses, yes, courses like community building and building community, yes, and interdisciplinary research efforts such as the Mellon Foundation-supported Divided City Initiative. In my introduction to the Women in Architecture Symposium, I recalled the recent book that I had been reading titled Death of a King, the real story of Martin Luther King Jr.'s final year by Travis Smiley. The book describes an important event, which was the speech that Dr. King gave at the Riverside Church in Harlem on Tuesday, April 4th, 1967, the year that Kate graduated from WashU, where he drew the connection between civil rights and the Vietnam War. His advisors warned him against the speech as it would criticize Lyndon Johnson, who had worked with him on two of the most important pieces of legislation in the country's history, voting rights and civil rights. The speech is more known for the famous passage, "Justice will roll down like waters, and righteousness like a mighty stream." But he also said, the war is immoral. The immorality of the war is married to the immorality of poverty and racism, and we are confronted with the fierce agency of now. In the beautiful book entitled On Beauty and Being Just, philosopher Elaine Scarry writes, "There is no way to be in a high state of alert towards injustices, to subjects that, because they entail injuries, will bring distress, without simultaneously demanding of oneself precisely the level of perceptual acuity that will be forever opening one to the arrival of beauty. What is beautiful is in league with what is true. The beautiful, almost without any effort of our own, acquaints us with the mental event of conviction. Through its beauty, the world continually recommits us to a rigorous standard of perceptual care. If we do not seek it out, it comes and finds us." In closing, I remind us that architecture, landscape architecture, and urban design matter. Designers changed the world with the courage of their perceptions through material imagination. Chartres Cathedral defies gravity to show us how stones can fly, and standing under the oculus of the great dome of the Pantheon, I can see the earth move. The weight of stone, the horizon of a landscape, or the glass wall that reflects our desire to know where we are, constitute a degree of magic where material becomes poetic. I have shared in the inspiration of your faculty and the support of your families and colleagues, as they have fueled the inertia of your desire to do significant work. The power of this should not be underestimated. It is a renewable energy source and a natural resource. So ever a sucker for tradition, I offer you the same final words that I spoke here last year. St. Louis's philosopher, Satchel Paige, championed 6 methods of staying young. Number 1, avoid fried meats which angry up the blood. Number 2, if your stomach disputes, lie down and pacify it with cool thoughts. Number 3, keep the juices flowing by jangling around gently as you move. Number 4, go lightly on the vices, such as carrying on in society. The social ramble ain't restful. Number 5, avoid running at all times. And number 6, don't look back. 2014 and 2015 graduates of the College of Architecture and the Graduate School of Architecture, Landscape Architecture, and Urban Design, when you leave this place, remember why you came. Congratulations. And congratulations again to all the graduates, and please join us for a reception in the rear.